唇に触れて しみに正しい答えなんてあるかわからないけど何にも知らない世界でただ一つだけ強く確かな想い話すたび触れるたび笑うたび目覚めてくこの想い決して譲れないから初めてこんなに素直にそばにいたいと思う
All right, hello everyone, and welcome back to Hippo Cup 8. We're here with another Losers Bracket Round 2 match, this time between John Porler and Carlos and 8. John Porler, the number 1 seeded team in the tournament with the highest average rank among their, I believe it is, top 6 members, but got out of the group as well in number 1, but ended up losing early on in the, I believe it was quarterfinals last weekend to Dadunai versus now Carlos and 8, who had a bit of an opposite story, did end up winning their first bracket stage match. No, actually losing their first bracket stage match against 45 versus 45, winning last weekend versus Essis Tvorbe, and now are back here again in the semi-finals to try and keep their run alive against the top-seeded team in the tournament. I'm Dio. I'm here with Affirmed Cheese for this match. How's it going, man?
Going all right, and I'm actually kind of surprised to see a team like John Porler in the lose bracket kind of this early. You know, they have players like Bashi Man, Suntan, they have Semi, 315, Aesthetic, and Caleb, but named 80 Nuggets here. So I don't know how this team lost unless they just didn't have like a full roster. So Carlos and 8 definitely gonna have their work cut out for them, but that's not without a fight, of course. They have some really top talent themselves, you know, the captain being Lurman, and I just recently heard about Mistia and their prowess, so I think we got an interesting matchup here, and I think we are about to get started, at least with the bans. It's going to be John Porler's first ban, and I look at John Porler's team, and I see just heavy control, heavy tech players here, so I could probably see something like a tapping game banned out from John Porler, but you know, I guess we'll see. They got some tapping on here, a little of a tapping roster here, but we'll see. But I can see them being very comfortable on the tech and all control picks. But they will be banning out that DT5, so it looks like they will be kind of eliminating some of those tapping maps from Carlos and 8 here.
Yeah, and I will say, last weekend, actually, John Porler had 7 members. Dadunai only had 5. They won with only 5 players: Crystal, Lidofox, Lolo235, Z Numbers, and CRZ XZ1 Z1Z, who only played 1 map. So they perma-lobbied 4 players almost, with Z Numbers stepping out of the lobby once in 12 maps. Turns out Dadunai is just really good. They also beat Grease Monkey this weekend already in Winners Finals. Grease Monkey, the number 2 seeded team in the tournament. So that team has now beaten both the number 1 and number 2 seeded teams in the tournament and is in Winners Finals. So turns out Dadunai is just a really, really good team in this tournament. As for John Porler and Carlos and 8, yeah, I think, you know, the tapping bans are probably good for John Porler here. Not because their team is going to be bad at tapping. They have players like Suntan, like 315, like Aesthetic, like Caleb, like Taro, who can all go in for these tapping maps, right? They can play these DT maps. But for Carlos and 8, I think a lot of their strongest players are a little bit more tapping-focused players like Lurman, players like Carlos Flo, who is very good at the speed, players like Bomilk and Viciobi, who are really strong on Team Argentina OWC for their DT, but not as much for some other things. And then, of course, some other players like Mistia, who is very good, especially at maps like that DT5, the very old-style AR8 high BPM DT maps, something that they should be very, very good on. And Carlos and 8 banning out the Nomad 5 here, not really surprising either. That's the AR7 finger control, a little bit of slider, some weird cut streams kind of map. John Porler has players like Bashiman, as we talked about earlier, players like One Tabby, who is really, really good as an easy player, and of course, low AR players generally, if you are an easy player, low AR Nomad tends to be pretty easy. 80 Nuggets as well. Caleb, very good at that sort of thing. Even Semi can probably play that. Tony can probably play something like that. So a lot of players who can go in for that sort of map. Nomad 8, the next ban for John Porler. That is Vicinity of Obscenity by System of a Down, Vita's Extra Diff. It's one of the precision difficulties on the newer set of Vicinity of Obscenity. And that, I think, does still make sense. It's a little bit RNG. There are a couple of pretty solid density precision players on the side of Carlos and 8. And whereas on Nomad 5, it's more about the low AR reading, Nomad 8, much more about the precision aim, especially on a somewhat alt BPM map, which Carlos and 8 should be pretty solid on.
Not gonna lie, I'm slightly surprised with the Nomad 8 ban there from John Porler. Of all people, Bashiman banning it shocks me just a bit. Of course, it's not 1v1, it's 4v4, so you definitely just, try to ban stuff that your whole roster's not good at. But, I know Bashi could play something like that. And I'm almost a little bit shocked not to see another speed pick get banned out there. And we're going to see Carlos and 8 ban out DT1, which I believe is just an aim map, right? Maybe?
Yeah, pretty much. Just an aim map. It is, however, 8 stars. And this stage of the pool in semifinals is where a lot of players are going to start to get skill capped, right? Last weekend, the highest star rating in the pool was like 7.75 stars, and that was one map. There was a single pick that was above 7.5 stars in the entire pool. So a lot of the players not quite so skill capped yet last weekend. This week, you've got quite a few maps above 7.5 stars, and that one's just above 8 stars. Within the free mod pool, I think every single map is above 7.5 stars with Hard Rock, so there's a lot of very high star rating picks, which is gonna, and these are not, necessarily mechanics picks, right? Like we have Rubik's Cube free mod, which with Hard Rock is really, really tough. They Are Many Colors free mod, which can be very tricky with the Hard Rock. So there's a lot of maps that are going to be very, very difficult, generally speaking, and not just in terms of the mechanics, but in terms of other skill sets as well. This map's kind of a perfect example, this Nomad 3 Delirium. This is a very high slider velocity focused sort of tech map with lots of cut double streams, some back and forth slider patterns, back and forth stream patterns, and has a lot of really, really tricky stuff in it. This is a pick that I'm actually just a little surprised at. I think John Porler's team is pretty good at this sort of map. So I am a little surprised to see it picked up here by Carlos and 8. But we'll see generally how well they do on this one, and if they're going to be able to take this point early on, because this... let's face it, John Porler, I think, is in most people's minds, better team in this matchup, is definitely the favorite to win this one. They are seed number 1 overall, right? So the expectations in this match are for Carlos and 8 to come in as the underdogs, and they definitely are. A lot of these players don't have some of the later stage OWC experience that you see on John Porler, right? With even Suntan, for example, being on John Porler. Chile has a lot of later stage OWC experience. You have Bashiman, Caleb, One Tabby, who, Bashiman's been on the USA OWC team. Caleb and One Tabby, while not OWC players for the USA, have seen lots of open rank international late stages, finals and grand finals. So these players, I think, are more well-known and have been to a lot of more tournament grand finals stages than those on the side of Carlos and 8. But that doesn't always mean that you're going to win just because you have a better on-paper roster. Sometimes the pool can be tricky enough and your opponent has practiced well enough that it just doesn't matter. Sometimes it all comes down to how well you play on the day, and Carlos and 8 hoping for a good day here.
Yeah, I'm also surprised to see the Nomad 3 get picked into John Porler. You know, I think we kind of established that they're probably going to be a little bit better control alt team here going into this. I figured that Carlos and A was probably going to try to abuse the speed because I think there's not too many high skill cap speed players here, but you know, I guess if this is what they're comfortable on, this is what they're comfortable on. But yeah, John Porler should be at least the higher skill cap team at the least, and this is definitely one of the harder maps to combo through. So I guess we'll see what happens. So far, well, we do see an early break from Bow Milk, but we'll see if they'll be able to turn that around. So it's going to be an early lead for John Porler going into this as we get into the first, hard patterns of the map. Super hard on the flow aim, and you also got that slider aim as well. Luckily, no ticks to really worry about, so you can cheese most of the sliders, and we do see more, pretty much the whole Carlos and A team broke at least once. There goes one tab to at least trade it, and oh my lord, we see 3 Escutes on the side of John Porler, which I shouldn't be too surprised, but this map is just so hard. And there goes Suntan, and not surprised seeing Bashi and Caleb of all people to be FC in this, and Caleb is doing a hidden, by the way.
Yeah, and there goes Bashi, man. Caleb now the last FC on the lobby right now. Everyone else is broken, and lots of breaks for Carlos and 8 during that section. Finally, a break comes through for Caleb. Tell me why I just had to play this guy in a tournament like 30 minutes ago. What's up with that, man? Why am I playing this dude? It's a ridiculous score lead for John Porler right now. Halfway through, yeah, the combos are all reset, but there's still no combo to speak of on Carlos and 8, and there's continued breaks on the top row there. Another one for Bow Milk comes through on the hidden on the bottom row. It's just Learman now with any combo for Carlos and 8, but all 4 on recovery combos for John Porler. And so this is, well, I talked about this just before this map started, that Carlos and 8 are the underdogs coming into this match, right? These are players who are definitely very good, right, on the OWC team for most of their countries. Unfortunately, you're playing against OWC players for teams that usually make it to the late stage of OWC, or players who would be on the OWC team for most other countries, like Caleb and One Tabby. So it's a little bit rough out here for Carlos and 8 on the first pick.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, with this Nomad 3 pick, I think John Porler, at least with their team composition, this would be the map that they probably top score for the weekend, because I think the match we casted last time, we have not seen combos like this that we see now. So I don't know. I'm hoping that this is just a mispick, and yeah, this is just a kind of like the first map jitters here. So hopefully we can see Carlos and I try to turn around for their future picks. We are heading to the end here, and yeah, that's almost a 30 mil score lead. Everyone has almost broken here in the late stage of the map, except for Suntan here. We'll have the highest combo going into the end. He does find a break, but not going to matter whatsoever. And yeah, this is just going to be a solid break point for John Porler, and I can see them following up with definitely another control pick. They have plenty control to go through. They do have some of these Hard Rock maps, which I imagine that they're probably going to first pick into something like Hard Rock, because you have players like Bashi, Suntan, and Caleb that can definitely play a lot of these maps in the Hard Rock pool, which went unpicked last match, actually, so I've not seen any of the Hard Rock.
Yeah, we also have stuff like the Nomad 4 still open, which I think would be a very good pick for John Porler after this. Things like the Fremod 2 are still open as well. Maybe the Fremod 4 if they're feeling like a little bit more of a finger control focus with They Are Many Colors. But there's a lot of things open that a win like this on the Nomad 3 really opens up here. The Hard Rock 4 in particular, if you are going to go into the Hard Rock pool, the Hard Rock 2 and Hard Rock 3 and Hard Rock 1, not really the kind of aim control that you see in this map in the Nomad 3. So I'm looking much more at stuff like the Nomad 4, like the Fremod 2, like the Fremod 4, like the Hard Rock 4. as opposed to most of the other hard rocks. There is also potentially something like actually, I don't think any of the DTs are really mostly aim control focused. It's a lot of high BPM in the DT pool this week, so maybe avoiding that for John Porler.
As we established, we don't think John Porler is really going to pick into mechanics. We kind of figured that Carlos and 8 was probably going to be a little bit more comfortable on the mechanics than John Porler, so yeah, definitely not expecting any DTs here. But yeah, pretty much, I think John Porler's definitely got a lot of control picks all locked down, but they're going to go with the aim slash. There are some streams in here, but primarily aim's going to be the free mod one. Gigantic OTN. Very familiar song at the least. This would be my second time seeing this map set. And yeah, it's the Corsair's custom map from 2020 from Grand Finals, free mod 2. As with it being free mod, don't have to take any hit-ins. Just 2 mods in general, don't have to be unique. Last time, let's say actually primarily a hard rock get taken. I don't know if that's going to be the case here, but I can see a team like John Porler probably going to be hard rock mains to be for the most part. Carlos and I can probably see them maining hidden. Especially we see Mistia coming in. You can see them going hit along with Lureman.
Let's see what they want to throw on for mod combinations here. I feel like this is a map that is probably best served by Hard Rock, but with it being AR 9.2 and CS3, probably best served by Hard Rock. But we'll see what they want to go with. I could definitely see a couple of people being comfort hidden players on this. Players like Mistia definitely might prefer the hidden or maybe just a hidden hard rock for Mistia on this. Same goes for players, actually a lot of John Porler, right? Suntan maybe could just take the hard rock only, but 80 Nuggets, 1Tabby would both definitely be more comfortable on the hidden. And so it's a little tough to call exactly who's going to be taking what mods since you don't have a required 1 hidden, 1 hard rock. It's just any 2 mods for these players.
Yep, and overmodding is allowed, so I can definitely see players on John Porler probably going hidden hard rock and give them that extra multiplier there, which will count for a lot more than would in Score V2. So there's a strong advantage for overmodding if players decide to go with it. And we get the minimum amount of mods possible with no hard rock, surprisingly enough, with the map being CS3. But yep, that's what the teams decide. I can definitely see a team like John Porler going with the overmod, but I guess not. And I would say this map would be harder on hidden just because with the perfect stacks that are kind of mixed in throughout the map. But as long as they practice it, I think they should be quite prepared for it.
Well, so far, just a couple of combo breaks early on for Carlos and 8. 1 for 80 Nuggets right at the start as well, and for Suntan. Crowley now finding another miss at the start of this first KI time for Carlos and 8. So that's more combo drops for the blue team here. John Porler, Boshi Man, finding a break there, but it's Learman to trade on the side of Carlos and 8. And once again, it's looking like we have a pretty solid combo lead, a pretty solid score lead for John Porler, and there's a 4-way reset for Carlos and 8, with 1 FC still remaining on John Porler's side, but Suntan and 80 Nuggets until a moment ago holding those big recovery combos. Now just 1Tabby and Suntan, but even those 2 big combos by themselves are still going to generate so much score for John Porler. And would you look at that, it's already almost double score here, which not particularly uncommon in Score V1, right? It's pretty easy to get double score, but coming back from that is still quite difficult, even with half the map remaining.
Yeah, I mean, Obviously, seeing the score like this early on just gave me too much hope for Carlos 8. But I would like to think that since this is John Porter's first pick, that they're going to be super dominant in this. So, yeah, I still got my cards on Carlos 8, Carlos 8 to at least, do something in this match here. Obviously, they are the underdogs, so, I guess not unexpected to see this, but, we'll see. We still got a best out of 13 to go through, so. And here comes probably the hardest part of the map here, the huge depth space, accelerating, decelerating streams of the map. And, for the most part, this map is to aim until you get to the last quarter here. We just get introduced to absolute hell. And, we don't see really any players actually FC in the stream section, which is to be expected. But, John Porler will be coming out more on top after that huge disc spike there. And Caleb in one tabby, well, not just Caleb, holding a 400 combo, which doesn't come close from anyone from Carlos 8. So, yeah, it's just going to be a pretty solid lead for John Porler. They're going to be getting a very definitive second point here, and kind of consolidate and beat up a breakpoint advantage coming into the end of this map.
Yeah, not too surprising. Once again, just about double score there for John Porler, almost double score on that one for a 2-0 start here. Solid first pick for them, and capturing that consolidated breakpoint always feels good starting out the match with that. As for Carlos and 8, definitely on the back foot at this point, right? Down 0-2 to start things off is never how you want to start off a match. So Carlos and 8 going to have their work cut out for them, and going to have to find a successful pick first here. Just based off the bans, you would think, okay, maybe some precision, something like the Hard Rock 3 could be solid. It's a more straightforward precision map as compared to the Hard Rock 4. It's not necessarily just a mechanics pick, but it is a little bit more straightforward, especially considering the Nomad 8 ban. Or maybe one of the DTs, right? Something like the DT3 or the DT2. Maybe something like the DT4 could be a solid option for them as well, right? With the DT5 ban. So I would think picking into some of the more straightforward picks, and especially picking into speed mechanics or precision, would be a solid plan for Carlos and 8 going into the next couple of picks here. Hopefully we see them get a successful point on the board and avoid the sweep here at the start. But for John Porler, you're hoping that regardless of what they pick, you're going to have a good roster for it. And I think more importantly, you're hoping they continue to pick into some of the more gimmicky stuff after that Nomad 3 opener. So we'll see where they want to go for Carlos and 8. I definitely feel like it should be something a little bit more straightforward. And it is not one of the maps I mentioned, but it is a relatively straightforward map in this pool. The Hard Rock 1 Trauma Recorder by Buta Otome. It's just an Alden aim map, man. There's not much going on. It's an aim map. It's very straightforward. It's just a lot of aim. This was originally a Corsace Open 2023 Nomad 1, custom Nomad 1 for that tournament. And yeah, it's a Nomad 1. It's a lot of aim. And that's pretty much all that's going on there.
Yeah, this, the HR1, I guess, makes sense. It's kind of the lesser skill cap maps that we have in the pool. I guess if you want to put it that way, it's just straight up aim. It does make me a little less hopeful for Carlos and 8 that they haven't picked mechanics yet. So I don't know. I feel like that's their kind of the forefront there, is to go into mechanics. But the fact that they haven't picked it yet, that makes me worry if they're going to be able to get any points off of John Porler. But if we're going with aim, is kind of shot to be coin flippy in nature, but with Hard Rock, obviously that makes it a lot more difficult than like Nomad 1. But we'll see. Got roster for Carlos already. Visio by like Bo Milk, Riley, Carlos Flo, and for John Porler, we got Bashi, Caleb. Santana one tabby once again, kind of boned those core 4 players for John Porler. And
I will say you may want to restart the tournament client here before we get going, because this map is not loaded yet.
Oh, should I? Yeah, I just realized. Okay, we'll be right back.
an 8, they're able to put together a solid roster on this one, as if they don't have a good run here, it is going to start to get a little bit out of hand. With 2 breakpoints in a row to start things off, it would be a really, really solid start for John Porler, but for Carlos and 8, it would really thin out the rest of the pool and make it so that there's just not all that many great picks left for them after this map is over. So if you are rooting for a close match, or you're rooting for Carlos and 8, you got to be rooting for them on this map especially to take this one.
All right, and I think everyone's good to go here. I don't know what's up with my IRC, but it just shows Bashi, man, the only player inside the lobby, which is clearly not true, as we have 8 players on the client here. But yeah, HR1 finally underway after a little hiccup there. And it looks like I was completely wrong on the hidden guesses for John Porler. I actually got Suntan 1 tappy on the hidden, but it makes sense that you have your highest skill cap players go, I wouldn't say no mod, but without the hidden, to try to get that quote unquote guaranteed FC. But from Carlos and 8, we're gonna have Bow Milk and Lurman on the hidden, which is not surprising to me. But yeah, we're already seeing breaks from John Porler, both Bashi and 80 Nuggets, which is not the players I would expect the first ones to break on this map. And it's just 1 tabby on the FC. Suntan did have a early hiccup there, but has since not recovered. Okay. But it's going to be all eyes on Vicio by Like and Carlos Flow to kind of hold on to the combo advantage that Carlos has built up. And there goes Vicio by Like. It's just Carlos Flow, the only FC in the lobby right now. It's going to be carrying his team to victory. Oh, okay, never mind. He's going to falter too. And then it's going to be a whole team wipe for Carlos and 8. And 80 Nuggets or Caleb with the recovery here, and there he goes. And yeah, it's just back and forth, and this is just the volatility of these types of A maps, especially with Hard Rock, that makes it hard to keep a consistent combo going. So we could have a just back and forth map here.
Definitely looking like it so far. A couple of other breaks to come through for Caleb. Just Suntan holding on a big combo at the moment. We'll see if that's still the case after the short break we have here. No, it doesn't look like it. Looks like another break to come through for Suntan. Never mind, it was Bancho. And Suntan actually still holding on to the 600 combo. Bit of a recovery for Liramin, but not going to be enough to combat this lead that Suntan has built up. This combo for Suntan going to continue pushing the score lead in their favor, but there comes the misses on the big back and forth jumps. Unfortunately, Liramin also trading it out on the side of Carlos and 8, and it's 80 Nuggets, Caleb, to hold on to more combo for John Porler to keep that score lead going in their favor. Now up above 5 million score, and now up above 6 million score in their favor. And now looking very solid for John Porler as they continue to keep control of the match. That said, control over this map is decidedly not theirs. They are ahead, right, by a good margin, 6.5 million team score. Pretty good. But there's no combo anywhere. Combo advantage is actually with Carlos and 8, just barely. And there's still a quarter of the map left. There's definitely time for a recovery, but it would require a pop-off from Carlos and 8. Let's see if they can do it.
Yeah, right now we're looking at Carlos right now, the guy that they named the team after. There's a potential chance if he holds on. I don't want to curse him too hard, but there's a whole team wipe from John Porler, so that makes that dream a little bit more true. But I think without support, it's going to be very, very hard for Carlos and 8. I guess we'll see with Score V1 being so volatile and how the points scale with combo. It could happen. He's still holding, and there are consistent breaks from John Porler. Could we see a miracle happen? Unfortunately, it's not enough time or support from his teammates there, and Carlos Flow is just gonna curse his dance his way to the end of the map. But unfortunately, no point for the team just yet. Just barely scrapes the second place finish there for the lobby.
Carlos almost top scoring the map in the lobby, just behind Suntan there. with a huge combo at the end and only 5 misses, which is actually the lowest miss count on that map. So very good score for Carlos. It's just not enough when the support for John Porler is also putting up similar scores, right? Caleb on 6.5 million, one tabby above 3 million, which is higher than anyone else on Carlos and 8. So unfortunately, true to the team name there for Carlos and 8, it really was Carlos and a bunch of other players. And unfortunately, one man is not enough in this matchup. So no dice on that map for Carlos and 8. And now John Porler with the next pick, the opportunity to go up 4-0, be over halfway to victory in this match if they win the next one. And it is going to be free mod 4 for their next pick. They Are Many Colors by Frums. It's 180 BPM, but a lot of finger control, a lot of aim control, and AR 8.5 reading on a 7.2 star map. So this is a really tricky one. This is mapped by Handsome, now known as Hihi. That's why the diff name is Hihi Master, as you can see on the screen there. So this is a really tricky one. There's a single FC. It's by Window Life with Hard Rock. No Nomad FCs. No hidden FCs. Actually, sorry, one Nomad FC by Almighty Door. No hidden FCs. Only one Nomad and one Hard Rock FC on this map. And it is a really tricky map, man. This is not easy at all. So if we're going to see a comeback from Carlos and 8 here, it'll be in pretty spectacular fashion.
Gonna be seeing Taro come for the very first time in this match. No surprise there that they come in for the AR 8.5 map, but it looks like Suntan 80 Nuggets gonna stay in here. I imagine Bashi comes in here too. I guess not. It's gonna be one tabby instead. It's probably gonna be one of the few maps that Bashi does not play in. We'll be seeing Mystia come in here. I imagine they do go hidden. And we're going to be seeing Revoken also for the first time for this match. I imagine it's going to be one of those low AR specialists too. They potentially go hidden on here also. And Crowley and Lurman, honestly, they probably go hard rock. I can't. Hey man, that's assuming that people actually do go hidden on this. As you said, there's not a lot of FCs here. So, and the FC was by Window Life, which shouldn't be too much of a shocker here. That's the kind of the barrier there, trying to FC this map with only Window Life, the only one capable of doing it. Kind of sets a high bar there. And we are finally getting started here. Gonna take a little bit of an insight on what these mods are gonna be, because honestly they could be anything. And it looks like it's gonna be Taro actually going on the Hard Rock, Suntan on the hidden, and it's gonna be Crowley and Lurman. The mods, Lurman going hidden, Crowley going Hard Rock. And I guess we'll see what happens. Caleb going with the no mod. I imagine out of all people, he's probably gonna be one of the more capable people to try to FC this no mod, if you ask me.
I'm actually a little surprised we don't see more Hard Rock on this, just because it is CS4 AR 8.5. Yes, it makes the mechanics a lot more difficult, but you can see the reading on this is really tricky for a lot of people. Even the density on Nomad can be really, really tough to deal with. And, well, Justin, Carlos and 8 are just not having a good time on this. They are just straight up not having a good time. There's not really any other easy way of putting it. They are not having fun on this one. Now, the stream section was a little kinder to them as we get into some more finger control streams, and actually a miss from Taro. So now combo on Crowley and Mystia. One tabby Suntan also finding drops. It's just Caleb, 80 Nuggets over there on the Nomad with some combo for John Porler. And now suddenly this combo advantage is pretty decent for Carlos and 8. Mystia on the Nomad matching Caleb. There goes Caleb. There goes Revoken as well. But it's Mystia and Crowley still holding on to combo for Carlos and 8, and nobody on the side of John Porler holding any combo. And suddenly not having a great time. Well, maybe they are actually enjoying. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that pattern That pattern is cruel and unusual. That's a form of punishment, I think, by the mapper for choosing to pick this in a tournament.
Yeah. Oh my god. I mean, there was definitely light at the end of the tunnel there for Carlson 8. And it's funny because they're, Misty and Crowley actually getting through the stream section pretty. Okay, now. Okay. I spoke too soon. I mean, holy hell. I think the poolers got a little devious for this one. I didn't expect the amount of mechanics in this map to be that high.
Maybe a little bit
Some
devious.
streams.
Yeah, unfortunately not a great one for Carlos and 8. Not a great one for John Porler either, to be honest. Nobody really finding a pop-off play on that map, but can you blame them? This is just a really hard map. So I think that it's pretty obvious. Most people are going to struggle on that throughout the weekend. I don't think there's going to be a ton of people who find a really solid score on this. Which makes sense. Let's go ahead on to the next pick for Carlos and 8. Now, John Porler up 4-0, over halfway to victory here. Can they close it out? Or can Carlos and 8 start up a comeback? I'm looking at DT3. I'm looking at DT2. I'm looking at DT4. And they go Nomad 1. So clearly not wanting to pick into the speed here. I think just really avoiding it after the DT5 ban from John Porler, I think that if you're in that position as Carlos and 8 and your opponent bans speed against you, most of the time you would want to pick into what is left out of the speed maps in the pool, right? Stuff like the DT3 especially, with it also being an AR8 DT map, or maybe the DT2 for it being higher BPM. Same goes for the DT4, right? Though that is AR 10.3. With them picking Hard Rock 1, Nomad 1, my thought is they might not have a lot of people who are comfortable on the speed maps. And so trying to find something else that works, picking into the things that are relatively accessible, the Hard Rock 1 and the Nomad 1, which if that's what you need to do, that's a good strategy. It may not work, but those are good picks in the situation.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Carlson has so far have not been successful in their picks, and they just haven't picked any mechanics. And honestly, that's like the only map so far that they haven't lost on, or skill set, I meant. So, I mean, at some point, you're going to have to kind of just throw your hat in the ring and just go for it. It's your best bet so far. Although you might not be comfortable on it, it might be your best shot at this point from what we've seen so far. And we see Nomad 1 pick, interesting enough. Not going to lie, I was kind of hoping for just some out of place like free mod 2 pick, because we know how Bashi 1 tabby can be on like the flowing type stuff. And we're not gonna be seeing Bosch Man again. We're gonna see Semi coming in here for the first time, also known as Burn Castle. Recent name change. Carlos 8, we're gonna be seeing their core 4, Carlos, Vicio, Crowley, Lurman in here as well. And I think this is an aim map. This opening sounds really, really long.
I believe that. Oh, I know this map. Oh, it's this map. Oh, this was in my tournament like 2 weeks ago, dude. This was in my. We pulled this like 2 weeks ago in my tournament. This is super high spacing jumps and then very low BPM flow aim. I just didn't recognize it. But yeah, this is what the map is. This is the whole map. It doesn't change. Except the streams get a little longer in the second half, but I mean, it's 160 BPM. This is really tough, actually. It should look hard because it is. It's cross-screen jumps, right? Even at 160 BPM, they're still cross-screens. It's not like they're easy. And lots of players struggling so far, mostly on the side of John Porler. Lots of misses for Berncastel and Taro. A couple of more misses coming through, though, for Carlos Flo, Viciobilek, and Crowley. Learman also finding the drop, and it's 80 Nuggets and 1 Tabby holding on with the hidden to bring the score lead back to the side of John Porler here and pull them back into the lead for yet another map in this match. 1 Tabby just popping off right now. This kind of a combo on this map is really, really good. So pay attention to one tabby because this kind of a combo is so hard to find in this map. Finally drops it, but that is a chill 2 million score lead. And reminder, that was 400 plus combo for one tabby. Unless we see something like that for somebody else on the side of Carlos and Flo, it's very unlikely they're going to be able to take this back because so many other players are just going to find miss after miss after miss on a map like this.
That's going to be a very hard, that's going to be a very tall order for Carlos and 8. Yeah, it's kind of funny, look at the metadata for this map because it's a total length of 4 minutes, 32 seconds long, but it's actually train time of 2 minutes. So yeah, it's actually a very short map, especially for No Mod 1. But look at this, how hard the difficulty of this map is. You know, I can't see anyone going more than 2 minutes on patterns like these, especially if your tablet's set to full area, like mine is set to 208 millimeters. So my aim hand be absolutely cooked after a map like that.
It's actually top score in the lobby for 80 nuggets after that. Not quite the best combo, but slightly better accuracy and maybe a bit more of those combo chains for Caleb on that map. So very, very solid run through that map for both of those players, both Caleb and one tabby. And unfortunately, Carlos and 8, the No Mod 1 not working out. The super high spacing, low BPM jumps and streams, not the pick for them, unfortunately. And now another pick over to John Porler. And yeah, I think you just have to assume it's going to be another one of those gimmicky aim control focused picks, right? The No Mod 4 is still open. The No Mod 6 is still open. The Hard Rock 4 is still open. The Free Mod 2 is still open. There's still quite a lot for this team to try to pick into as we get a little bit of song lag here on the client. Hopefully, there we are.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, pretty much if you're looking at the perspective of John Porter, you pretty much still have quite a full map pool at your disposal here. So a lot of good picks for him. Obviously, we're certainly not going to see any DT get picked from John Porler. But yeah, go for the control maps. I'm still hopeful for a, out of right field Free Mod 2 pick from John Porler, but that may not be the case here. I just want to see Rook's Q get played. That's somewhere on their pick. They've been picking quite quickly, but taking a little bit more time on this pick here. So we got like not too much time left, about 30 seconds. And it's gonna be Free Mod 3, actually, the Gorshit map. And we have finally get to see a mechanics pick here. It's actually from John Porler, of all people. And yeah, this is just a heavy burst map. It's a 237 in BP and 2 minutes 24 seconds long, and pretty sure it just does not let up with the streams and bursts. So could be quite a sandwich check at that too. And yeah, I imagine we're not going to see Bashi for this at all.
No.
It's gonna be one
not a Bashi map.
Sure.
We may see some different players for John Porler if they are here and available. Honestly, the Europeans may not be available for this match, right? So we may not see players like Amasthetic come in for this, but I think you have Suntan, you have 315 potentially, you have Taro, you have Caleb for this one. You maybe have one tabby in for this as well. Potentially you can have Tony come in for this also. There's still choices for John Porler on this map. It looks like it is going to be one tabby staying in though. So we'll see if what kind of mod he ends up taking on this one and who the last member is. I'm looking for Taro, given that we saw him earlier in this match. That would probably be the most likely person to come in, and there he is. Carlos and 8 with Crowley, Learman, Mistia, and probably Carlos, if I had to guess. Although if it's not Carlos, it might be... it looks like Revican actually coming in. Okay. So there we go. We do have actually a full Brazilian roster here. All 4 Brazilian players in for Carlos and 8. That's a lot of players, 4 Brazilian players. Let's see how they do on this one.
actually kind of surprised to see John Porler with teammates not all within like kind of like, you know, probably +2 or -2 time zone, because trying to assemble a team of 9 and try to get them all present for matches super difficult, especially when it's an international tournament. For the most part, most of these teams have had the foresight of okay, let's just get a team that where we can all be available at the same time.
Or at least only 2 continents, right?
Yeah.
Instead of like 3, right? You don't want North America, Europe, and Asia. You want like North America and Europe, or North America and Asia, or Europe and Asia, right? Like let's just do 2 continents instead of 3, which is what John Porler has done. They are just, you know, well, technically 3: North America, South America, and Europe. But yeah, as for Carlos and 8, I believe they are all 1 continent. No, technically 2. They do have What's Up from Portugal, so technically they are also a 2-continent team with South America and Europe on the team. But definitely, I think more players from the same continent here for Carlos and 8. Generally, all of them from South America. In this case, all of them from the same country, although not quite working out on Xenobeat at the moment. A couple of early breaks for, well, everyone besides Liramin, actually, on their side. Carlos and 8 with only the 1 full combo remaining. 1Tabby and Suntan both holding the FCs for John Porler. 80 Nuggets not too far behind. Another miss does come through for Taro on the Hard Rock, but it is still a pretty solid lead for John Porler. And with that miss from Liramin, it's now looking pretty good here for John Porler halfway in. Oh, there goes another couple of misses, though. But VCOB, like the 1 big combo on the side of Carlos and 8, will trade it out. So 1Tabby's miss there, not going to mean much. Suntan and 80 Nuggets still holding on to the FC and the reverse choke, respectively. And this map is looking pretty bad for Carlos and 8 right about now. Another miss comes through for Suntan, but 80 Nuggets there, and he misses also. But Taro now has 500 combo, and that's the highest in the lobby. So, and he's gone. Everyone's just missing all over the place, but there's like a 20 million score lead, man. It doesn't really matter, unfortunately, for Carlos and 8 because they just do not have the recovery combo.
Yeah, John Porler won this quite a while ago. Yeah, almost, you know, doubling your opponent's score and scoring one. It's gonna be really hard to come back from, especially when you have such little map left. And for this Fremont 3 win for John Porler, they're pretty much rounding out all the skill sets here. I think everything has pretty much been covered. So with this, yeah, I can't really see any hope for Carlos and 8 unless it's kind of like a fluke there. But yeah, and I think that was John Porler's pick. So Carlos and 8 is gonna have to win this pick +6. You know, to have a shot at winning. So yeah, quite a tall task, especially when so far you've lost on almost every skill set. But there's always hope. There's always hope. They haven't lost yet. I still don't see 7 stars on the side of John Porler, so I guess there is a chance of Carlos and 8 not getting swept here.
Let's see if they can pull out a win here. They've got one more chance to pick successfully here. If it's going to happen, it has to be now for Carlos and 8. Unfortunately, it hasn't looked particularly close on really any of the maps in this match so far, so it is tough to give them that credit, but maybe if we see something a little different, right? We've seen most, and that's banned, sir. Unfortunate. Well, I guess it was a good ban by John Porler, right? So well done from John Porler. They banned out a map that Carlos and 8 would have wanted to pick. Unfortunately, that is banned. Nomad 7 is not banned. However, that was picked by a member of John Porler, so it's not going to be that one either, I think. I feel like, you know, where do you go from here? The couple of things that are left that haven't really been touched are like DT speed, but we just had Xenobeat, so it's kind of tough to really want to go into that. And maybe precision. I I don't know about this Rubik's Cube pick, unfortunately. It's possible that this is a good pick for them. We've seen the Nomad 1 go awry. We've seen a lot of aim control go awry, but we haven't really seen flow aim streams generally. So maybe this is a good pick for Carlos in 8, and we just don't know it.
Yeah, I mean, not gonna lie, yeah, it's not looking good for Carlos in 8. Yeah, obviously flow aim hasn't really been tested all too much yet, so we'll see. Obviously, these hidden players are gonna have a real tough time playing the map, especially with the spacing and the heavy flow aim here. You know, once you miss a note, you're pretty much cooked for that entire stream. We'll see. But yeah, it's definitely one of the harder maps to FC, especially towards the end. That's where you see the real hard parts accelerating, decelerating streams, and the flowing just get a lot more harder, and the parents gets a lot more space. But we'll see. It definitely won't be seeing Bashime on this. That's for sure. And yeah, one Tabby Suntan, Taro Sanan, along with Caleb. So looks like this is gonna be our 8-player roster, potential last roster we're gonna see. Unless Carlos and 8 pulls something out of their hat and get a point on the board. But see the golfs, have funs in the chat, and I guess we'll see what happens from here on out.
One Tabby, Suntan, 80 Nuggets, and Taro, 80 Nuggets, and wow, that's an overmod. Oh my god, they all went Hidden Hard Rock. What?
Oh no!
I'm sorry? Why do we have
bug?
4 Hidden Hard Rocks?
Is this a
I mean, I guess
bug?
you can do that, but like, why? Why would you? The map is AR 9.3, but like, I swear to God, that's not that dense, right? Surely? Mod advantage, I suppose. Mod multiplier advantage, surely, will help them on this. Yeah, all right. Well, anyway, Hard Rock for Revikin, hidden for Bowmilk and Learman on the side of Carlos and 8. A couple of early breaks coming through for Suntan and Revikin, with another break coming through for Taro and Bowmilk here a little later on into this first long stream. 80 Nuggets also breaking right at the end, and suddenly it's just one Tabby left with the full combo for John Porler. Viciobi and Learman both holding on to the full combos for Carlos and 8, and better recovery combo for Revikin than for any of the members of John Porler. So this is looking good for Carlos and 8 here at the start, but it's not a huge lead yet, and there's still quite a lot of time left in this map. That miss on aim for Viciobi, like the miss right afterwards for Revikin as well is not great to see, but there is still the FC going on Learman. Bowmilk also finding the drop, so all of the recovery combos for John Porler are just adding up to a huge combo lead, and there goes Learman, and now suddenly the lead is right back over to John Porler once again. It's a 3-way break for John Porler during this second KI time right before the long stream, and one Tabby is still holding on to the full combo with Hidden Hard Rock going into the second long stream.
Okay, he was able to get right back in after dropping a chain 100s there. And obviously this is not a serious play from John Porler. Obviously one time he still FC, which is white. Okay, there it is. But still, wait, there's an actual comeback potential from Carlos and 8. They have 3 big combos on Star Carlos and 8, and yeah, none of the players from John Porler outmatch any of those. So, you know, we should see the score lead go right back to Carlos and 8 here soon, especially when we're about to get back into this next little bridge section here. So it's only a 2 mil difference, and the amount of combos stacked on the side of Carlton A, that should be pretty easy. Oh no, there goes. Oh lord. Well, luckily Vicio by like is still with the big combo, and still a combo advantage for Carlton A, so that shouldn't halt the progress they have made so far. But that score bar is not really moving all too much, and the score difference looks pretty stagnant. See a little bit more breaks coming out of John Porler here, and there goes Visca by like, and I don't know if there's a chance in hell here.
Yeah, unfortunately the combo is there for, well, it was there for 80 Nuggets, still there for Suntan. And now it's looking pretty good for John Porler once again going into the last long stream section. This is the most difficult part of the map. And so even if we see lots of misses from John Porler, it's unlikely for Carlos and 8 to build up the combo they would need to take back the score lead in the ending here. And there's a full 4-way wipe for both teams coming out during the ending here. And along with that 4-way wipe is going to be the end of the road for Carlos and 8. It is a quick 7-0 for John Porler in their first match in the losers bracket. This losers round 2 match for Carlos and 8, their second match here in the losers bracket, and going to be their second loss of the tournament as well. So they are now done with the tournament, knocked out by John Porler as they move on to losers round 3.
Yep, since we are in the semifinals here, John Porler still has a potential to get through before they advance from the stage. After that win, they should be up. Oh, I put the wrong schedule. Who are they going up against?
It does look like they're going to go up against Team Poland here.
Yeah. That's the only way to put it on, so I cannot pronounce Polish. But yeah, going against that team. And yeah, with that, Carlos and 8 will be eliminated from the tournament. John Porler is going to move on to their second match in the lose bracket. And with that, that's going to end the streams for today. Next match is going to be tomorrow, or I guess technically today if we're talking UTC time. It's going to be at 1500 UTC March 2nd. That's going to be a battle of HK versus the Irishman 4, which the Irishman is just all South Korea there. But yeah, stay tuned for that, and we'll catch y'all later.
Thanks for watching.
It's been a match. Thank you, Dia, for the cast, and we'll catch y'all later.